my dear child, you are living in fragments. Pieces of you stuck in memories you can't change, while other pieces drift into tomorrows that haven't come. I watch you try to hold them all, as if managing the past and the future could finally give you peace. But the more you reach behind, and the further you stretch ahead, the more today slips through your fingers. And that's where I am, here, in the now. You keep asking where I've gone. You pray to feel me closer, to hear me clearer, to see me move. But I haven't moved. You have. Your heart is scattered across time while I remain here, in the one place you were always meant to meet me, this present moment. I did not create you to live in constant anticipation or regret. Anticipation becomes anxiety when it's severed from trust. Regret becomes shame when it isn't surrendered, and neither can nourish your soul. But here, in the now, you will find what you've been searching for. My peace is not waiting for you in the future. My healing is not buried in the past. My love is poured out in this breath, this step, this quiet second, when you stop and turn your attention to me. Do you know what happens when you live fully in the now? You begin to feel again. You begin to see what you've missed in the rush, the way the light filters through the trees, the sound of your own laughter, the texture of mercy in the middle of an ordinary day. You begin to hear my voice in the silence you once feared. I'm not just with you in crisis or breakthrough. I'm here when nothing spectacular is happening. I'm in the rhythm of your breath. I'm in the stillness between distractions. I'm in the eyes of the person standing in front of you. I am where you are, not where you think you need to be. You keep waiting for a better moment, when you're more healed, more focused, more certain. You think if you could just get a few more things under control, then you could finally rest, finally feel close to me. But the door to my presence is never locked by your circumstances. I don't wait until your life is perfect to draw near. I step into the chaos. I settle into the confusion. I bring light to the clouded places, not once they clear, but so they can clear. You've made peace a destination when I've always meant it to be a dwelling. You think joy is something you reach once you've earned it. But I give joy as a gift in the middle of broken places. You are not disqualified from my presence because you're still figuring things out. You're not blocked from my peace because your life doesn't look how you thought it would. My presence doesn't wait for the future version of you. I love you right here, as you are, in the unresolved, in the in-between. The reason the now feels so difficult is because your attention is divided. You're looking backward at what you wish had happened, or forward at what you hope will happen, while missing the miracle that's unfolding now. Your heart is stretched across timelines it was never meant to carry. You weren't created to bear the full weight of your story all at once. You were created to walk with me moment by moment, and I provide what you need for each one. Not in advance, not in backlog, but right on time. Come back to now. I know it's hard. I know the memories still hurt. I know the future still scares you, but I'm asking you to trust me enough to let go. You don't have to relive every mistake to learn from it. And you don't have to anticipate every outcome to be prepared. You only need to remain with me here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this present. Do you feel that? That's me calling you home to yourself, back to your center, back to the peace that surpasses understanding, not because everything is right, but because you are connected to the one who never changes. I am your constant in a world that never stops shifting, and I don't need you to understand everything to be at peace. I just need you to be present with me. That's where peace begins, not with answers, but with awareness. Every moment you spend here with me is a seed planted in eternity. The world tells you that the present is nothing more than a stepping stone to what's next. But I say it's holy ground. The only place where love can be lived, where healing can begin, where truth can be heard. You can't touch me in the past. You can't see me in the future. But you can experience me right now. And that's what I want for you. Not just to believe in me, but to encounter me. Not just to trust my plan, but to walk with me through every unfolding second of it. There is no wasted, present moment. Even your boredom, your fatigue, your ordinary tasks can become sacred when you invite me into them. Every cup of coffee, every conversation, every breath, when offered to me, becomes worship. Not because the actions are extraordinary, but because my presence sanctifies the ordinary. And when you live aware of that, you begin to see how close I've been all along. So let go of the weight you've been carrying. Past regrets, future worries, timelines you can't control. Lay them down. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, let this be the moment you return to presence, to simplicity, to peace. This is where you find me. This is where you find yourself. And this is where your life truly begins again. You don't have to go looking for me somewhere far off. I am already here, in this word, in this pause, in this heartbeat. I have always been the God of now. I see the way your mind wanders, the way it races ahead, trying to solve what hasn't even happened, or turns around to relive conversations and choices you wish you could change. And each time you get lost in those places, your spirit grows restless. You feel disconnected, unsure, unsettled. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you were never created to live anywhere but now. Every time you pull away from the present, you're pulling away from the place where I am most available to you. I don't live in your hypotheticals. I don't inhabit your regrets. I dwell with you in this moment. And this moment is enough for me. Even when it feels boring, unremarkable, or uncertain to you, it is still holy ground because I'm here. Do you know what that means? It means that right now, without anything changing in your circumstances, you can encounter me. You can receive my peace. You can step into joy, not because of what is happening around you, but because of who I am and who I am with you. You long for peace, but you look for it in what's next. You tell yourself that when the meeting is over, when the bills are paid, when the outcome is clear, then you'll be able to rest. But peace doesn't wait for conditions to align. Peace is my presence, and my presence is always now. When you stop racing ahead, when you stop reaching back, when you choose to anchor yourself in this moment, you begin to notice what you've been missing. You begin to feel your own breath. You begin to hear the subtle sound of grace moving through your ordinary day. That's where I've been all along. Not waiting at the end of your to-do list, not sitting in the middle of your fantasies or future plans, but right here, in the silence that makes you uncomfortable, in the gap between your questions and the answers, in the seconds you usually rush past. This is where I heal you, moment by moment, breath by breath, not always through events that seem miraculous, but through your willingness to be present with me. You don't need a perfect setting to enter my presence. You don't need to be sitting in church or kneeling in prayer or doing something spiritual in appearance. I'm not limited by setting. I'm not confined by rituals. I dwell in you. I walk with you. And I am always available when your heart turns toward me, even if it's just for a moment, a glance, a breath. That's how my kingdom comes, not just in big movements, but in the small moments when your attention shifts from the chaos to the calm, from the fear to the faith, from the storm to the stillness. This moment is not empty. It is full of me. And if you choose to meet me here, you'll find that your anxiety begins to quiet, that your mind begins to slow, that your heart begins to soften. You'll begin to see the presence isn't just about slowing down your body. It's about aligning your soul. returning to the rhythm I set for you before time began. A rhythm of rest, of trust, of knowing that I am enough, and so are you, right here, right now. You don't need to wait for life to calm down before you calm your spirit. You don't need all the answers before you exhale. Let the past be what it was. Let the future be what it will be. I am in charge of both. What I'm asking from you is your attention. I want your heart here, not scattered, not striving, present, because it's only when you're present that you can truly hear me, truly feel me, truly respond to what I'm doing now. The enemy will always try to steal your now. He will use fear to rush you into a future you can't see, or shame to anchor you in a past you can't fix. And in doing so, he will blind you to the glory of this moment. Don't let him. Don't surrender the one thing he can never create, the gift of presence. He will distract you with busyness, with noise, with urgency that isn't holy. But I call you to rest, to awareness, to peace that flows like a river from the throne of grace, directly into this breath. You don't need a breakthrough to be joyful today. You don't need a miracle to feel me. You don't need clarity to trust me. Just be here with me. Let this second be sacred. Let the hum of life slow into stillness. Let your heart return to what matters most, not what you do, but who you are and who I am with you. You think the present is too small to hold significance, but this moment is eternal. It is the only place where love is possible, where change begins, where healing happens. You cannot rewrite the past or live the future yet, but you can choose me now. You can open your heart to my love now. You can forgive, surrender, release, rejoice now. So breathe with me, walk with me. Let me guide you through this hour, not with maps or demands, but with the quiet leading of my spirit. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not missing anything I have for you. You are exactly where I need you to be. For in this moment, your heart is open. And where your heart opens, I pour out more than enough. You often ask me to change things, your surroundings, your struggles, your outcomes. But rarely do you pause to ask me to change your awareness. And yet, awareness is what transforms everything. Because when your eyes open to the truth of my nearness, even your hardest moments begin to look different. You no longer walk through pain alone. You no longer drift in confusion without an anchor. My presence does not always remove the challenge, but it reshapes how you experience it. And this transformation starts not when your situation changes, but when your spirit turns fully to the now. The present moment is where I do my deepest work. It's not in the someday you dream about or the yesterday you mourn. It's here, where your breath and my spirit meet. You don't need to go far to find me. You only need to stop long enough to see that I've already been here, waiting for your attention. My love doesn't live in the outcomes you long for. It lives in the awareness that, right now, I am pouring myself into this moment with you. Do you know why the present is so powerful? Because it's the only place where you can choose. You can't choose anything in the past. It's already happened. You can't choose anything in the future. It hasn't come. But here, now, you can choose to open your heart, to listen, to forgive, to believe again. And when you do, you invite me into your reality in ways that shift not only how you feel, but who you become. This is where real growth happens. Not when you finally arrive at the answer, but when you learn to dwell with me in the question. You've believed that transformation must be loud, immediate, dramatic. But I don't always work that way. More often, I move like water, slow, steady, shaping even the hardest stone over time. And that time is not wasted. It's where roots deepen. It's where identity forms. It's where wounds are healed not in haste, but in the gentle presence of love that refuses to leave. You've been looking for transformation in events, but I want to show you transformation in awareness, in noticing, in receiving. I want you to see that the miracle isn't always around the corner. It's already unfolding in your breath, your heartbeat, your rising and lying down. You carry my spirit within you, which means you carry access to my peace, my joy, my wisdom, right now. You don't need more to be more. You need only to remember that I've already given you everything in myself. And when you live present, you begin to live grateful. Not in a forced or performative way, but in a natural response to seeing what's truly here. Gratitude flows from seeing rightly. You begin to notice blessings that routine had hidden from your view. The steady presence of someone who loves you, the meal that nourished you today, the moment of laughter that broke the heaviness, the strength you didn't realize you had. These are not small things. They are evidence of my love active in your life. Gratitude opens the way to even more transformation, because as your eyes begin to see what I've already done, your faith begins to rise for what I am still doing. You stop living in fear of what's missing and start rejoicing in what's present. And in that space, your heart softens, your anxiety lessens, your spirit becomes more tender to my voice, not because your life is suddenly easier, but because your awareness has become clearer. When you practice presence, you learn how to abide. Abiding is more than spiritual language. It is the art of remaining connected to me in the middle of everything. It is what I invited my disciples into, not just to believe, but to remain. And this invitation stands for you today. You don't have to ascend to a higher level of understanding or spirituality to abide. You simply need to stay with me here, in this hour, in this breath. When you laugh, stay with me. When you cry, stay with me. When you're confused, stay with me. I never leave, and when you don't leave either, transformation becomes inevitable. The person you long to become is not found at the end of your goals. That person is shaped in the moments you choose me now. Every yes, every surrender, every prayer spoken in the ordinary stillness of today, it matters. You may not feel it instantly, but nothing you give me is ever lost. It becomes seed, and seed, when sown in presence, bears fruit in due season. Let me sow into your soul in this moment. Let me shape you, not just into someone who moves forward, but into someone who moves deeper. Let my love reframe the way you see your current reality. That hard thing you're walking through, I'm in it with you. That waiting you don't understand, I'm not wasting it. That joy you weren't expecting, I gave it to you. Not one thing in your life escapes my notice, and not one moment spent with me is ever empty. If you want to see change, if you want to grow, if you want to live fully, you must come back to this. Be with me, here. And when you do, when you stay long enough in this moment for your soul to settle, you will find me faithful. You will feel the weight lift. You will hear again the song I've been singing over you all along. Not a song of demands, a song of delight. Because I do not just tolerate your presence, I treasure it. You are my beloved, and when you choose now, you choose me. You keep asking me what your purpose is, as if it's a distant treasure buried beneath 1,000 conditions. You chase clarity like it's hiding from you, hoping that if you just pray harder, wait longer, or become someone else, I'll finally show you what you were created for. But I haven't hidden your purpose from you. I've placed it in the very breath you're breathing. It's not far away. It's not complicated. It begins right here, right now, in the space where your heart and my presence meet. You were made to live fully in this moment, to wake up not with fear, but with awareness that you are alive, because I have something for you today, not just eventually, not just someday. Today. Your purpose doesn't begin with a grand calling or a perfectly aligned plan. It begins with presence, my presence, and yours. When you are truly here with me, then the simplest actions become sacred. The smallest steps become significant. You don't have to wait to live meaningfully. You just have to stop running from this moment. You've believed the lie that purpose must look impressive, that it must feel certain. But purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it's found in the quiet faithfulness of showing up, with kindness, with courage, with love. Sometimes it's holding space for someone else's pain. Sometimes it's choosing peace when your mind wants to spiral. Sometimes it's making a meal, writing a sentence, folding laundry, or praying a single honest prayer. You think those things are small, but they matter to me. They echo in eternity when offered from a heart anchored in me. I do not measure your life by milestones. I shape it by moments. I shape you in the unseen, uncelebrated places, and those places, when lived with me, are never wasted. You've asked me to reveal your calling, and I'm showing you it in every opportunity to love, to listen, to serve, to breathe with intention. My will is not a tightrope of exact choices. It is a path of presence. Walk with me here, and you will not miss what I have for you. You wonder, am I doing enough? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Let me ask you this instead. Are you with me now? Are you surrendered to this breath, this task, this relationship, this act of love that I've placed before you? If so, then yes, you are exactly where you need to be. I do not call you to endless striving. I call you to trust that I'm at work in the very space you are standing. Purpose is not about being extraordinary. It's about being available. And when you are present, you are available to my spirit, to those I place around you, to the movement of grace in your daily life. You don't need a spotlight to matter. You don't need a platform to impact. You simply need to be fully present with me in this moment, and everything I've placed within you will begin to rise. You've been taught to focus on outcomes, but I want to teach you to focus on obedience. Outcomes come and go, but obedience, especially in the little things, shapes you forever. I lead you not with grand gestures, but with gentle prompts, with nudges in your spirit, with peace that settles when you choose the next right thing, even when no one else sees it. That's where your calling lives, not just in your talent, but in your trust. You were made to be a vessel of my presence, not just on the stage, or in the spotlight, or when things feel important, but in the here and now. That's where the kingdom moves. That's where heaven meets earth. When my children are awake to what's in front of them and willing to love with what they have, the world begins to shift. Not because of what they achieve, but because of how they abide. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop searching for the perfect plan. You will not discover your purpose by overthinking your way into it. You will discover it by choosing me now, by showing up, by surrendering what you expected this moment to be, and allowing me to show you what it already is. Purpose isn't a distant calling. It's a daily communion. I am not withholding clarity from you. I'm anchoring you in something deeper, presence, that transforms how you see your life. When you live from presence, your days no longer blur together. Your time becomes meaningful. Your interactions become holy. Your decisions become guided, not by fear of missing out, but by confidence that I am guiding you, step by step, breath by breath. You may not yet see the full picture, but you don't need to. You need only to stay close. Purpose will unfold, not like a blueprint, but like a sunrise. Gradual, gentle, certain. If you stay in step with me, you will arrive exactly where you're meant to be. Not because you had it all figured out, but because you remained present with the one who already does. Let this moment be enough. Let it carry the weight it was designed to hold. You are here on purpose, not drifting, not late, not lost, seen, loved, planted, guided. This is where purpose begins, and it begins now. I know what weighs you down. It's not always what's happening now, it's what has already happened, or what you fear might still happen. You replay old conversations, relive past mistakes, and rehearse painful memories, as if doing so might somehow redeem them. Or you gaze into the unknown future, bracing yourself for what could go wrong, trying to prepare your heart for every possibility. And in all of this, you rob yourself of the very thing I keep offering. This moment, this now, the place where I dwell, the place where healing begins. You weren't meant to carry the weight of time on your back. That's my job. I hold the past, I shape the future, I redeem both. But you were created for presence, for communion, for this breath. When your soul is anchored in now, you can finally lay down what you were never meant to carry. You can release what has already passed and stop grasping for what has not yet arrived. Here, with me, is where peace becomes more than an idea. It becomes your reality. You've believed that peace comes when everything makes sense. But my peace doesn't wait for answers. It descends in the middle of questions. It isn't earned by figuring things out. It's received by surrendering your grip. I've never asked you to solve the puzzle of your life. I've only asked you to trust me with the pieces. And that begins when you place your heart fully in this moment. Even if this moment feels unfinished, uncomfortable, or unclear. I'm not waiting to love you until you heal. I'm loving you now, so you can heal. You keep trying to move forward on your own strength. But what you need isn't more effort. It's more presence. Not your presence in a perfect version of life, but mine in your actual life. The version with struggle. The version with broken edges. The version that still has questions and longing. That's where I meet you, not because you've cleaned up, but because I already came close. When you stop fighting the present, you begin to hear what I've been trying to say all along. You are safe. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. My love is not waiting for your perfection. It's embracing you as you are. And when you truly live from that truth, something begins to shift inside you. You no longer look at your life through the lens of what's lacking. You begin to see it through the lens of love. That is where hope begins. Hope isn't a distant promise. It's a seed planted in the present. You don't grow into hope by predicting the future. You grow into it by noticing what I'm doing right here, in the breath you just took. In the moment, your heart softened. In the choice to trust again even after disappointment. That's what makes hope resilient. Not that you never felt fear, but that you kept turning your eyes toward me anyway. When you live in the now, you begin to recognize how often I've been there, how many times I whispered peace into the chaos, or wrapped my arms around your silence, or filled a room with comfort when no one else understood what you were feeling. I've never waited for you to climb out of your mess before showing up. I show up inside the mess, and I stay. I do not walk away when the tears fall. I collect them. I do not flinch at your anxiety. I draw closer. Because I am not afraid of your process. I am committed to your heart. Let the past rest in my hands. Let the future unfold in my timing. You are not running out of time. You are not falling behind. You are standing in the exact moment where my grace is poured out, where my voice still speaks, where my power is made perfect in your weakness. There is nothing more holy than this present moment offered to me in trust. You ask me for healing, but healing often begins with awareness of my presence in this very place. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to escape your pain. You can sit with me in it. And as you do, I will tend to what's broken. Not always by removing the ache, but by restoring your hope within it. I know how to walk you out of the shadows. I know how to bring light into your weary places. And I do it step by step, moment by moment, one breath at a time. So take this moment and give it to me. Don't run from it. Don't judge it. Just offer it. Let me meet you in the stillness. Let me breathe life where fear has tightened its grip. Let me remind you that you are not failing just because you are healing slowly. You are not lost just because you are learning to be present. These things take time, and time, when surrendered to me, becomes transformation. You are safe here, you are seen here, and you are being restored right now. Not because everything is resolved, but because you have returned to the only place where peace is truly possible, the present, this breath, this awareness, this now, and I am with you in it. You keep asking me to show you what's coming. You whisper, sometimes with desperation, "Lord, what's next?" And I understand that longing. I know how fragile you feel when you can't see what's ahead. But I want you to understand something sacred. You don't need to see what's next. If you truly believe, I'm already there. I have never asked you to walk with certainty in circumstances. I've asked you to walk with certainty in me, and I am not in the next moment more than I am in this one. What if the greater miracle isn't found in your future breakthrough, but in the simple, quiet surrender of now? What if peace isn't waiting for you at the next chapter of your life, but is standing beside you this very moment, waiting to be received? You keep looking outward, forward, even upward for signs, for answers, for clues. But I have placed myself closer than any of that. I dwell within you. And the now, this moment of breath, silence, and openness, is where you will most clearly hear me. You were never meant to build your security on what comes next, because what comes next is always changing. But I do not change. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever, and I am right here. In this present breath, I am offering you the kind of stability that nothing in this world can counterfeit. Not financial success, not relationships, not health or influence or certainty about tomorrow. All of those things shift like sand, but I remain. And when your heart roots itself in me, you become unshakable. Not because your life is easy, but because my presence in the now is enough. This world will always try to pull your attention forward. It will tell you that joy is waiting for you once you finish that project, repair that relationship, achieve that goal. But I speak a better word. I tell you joy is possible now. Not because your life is perfect, but because I am perfect in your life. Not because you've resolved everything, but because you've decided to release it all into my hands. That decision, simple, unseen, but deeply spiritual, opens a floodgate of peace that no logic can explain. So I invite you again to trust me here, not in your imagination of what's next, not in your hopes for 5 years from now. Trust me in this moment. Trust me enough to breathe without bracing for the future. Trust me enough to listen before reacting. Trust me enough to be still before solving. Trust me enough to let now be more than just a stepping stone. It is the altar where I meet you and remind you that you are safe. You do not have to earn your way into rest. You only need to stop running from what is. Be present with me in the confusion. Be present with me in the joy. Be present with me in the questions. That is where my guidance begins. Not in maps, but in presence. I do not shout over your distractions. I whisper in your stillness. And when you choose to stay in the moment, even when it's uncomfortable, you are opening your spirit to receive what I've been speaking all along. There's no shame in not knowing what's next. There is no failure in needing me moment by moment. That's how I designed you, not as an independent operator, but as a child who walks closely with their father. And when you accept that truth, your fear begins to lift. You begin to see the freedom of now, because now is light enough for your soul to carry. The past is too heavy. The future is too vast. But this moment, this breath, is full of grace. You don't need to pretend you're fine. I'm not asking for performance. I'm asking for presence. Let me be enough for this moment. Not the idea of me, but me, alive, speaking, sustaining you right now. Let go of the thoughts that say, I should be further along, or I need to figure this out soon. I'm not rushing you. I never have. I've always been more concerned with forming your heart than fixing your circumstances. And what forms you most is your willingness to remain where I am. I know how easy it is to drift, to start your day in awareness, then get lost in the noise, to start in peace and end in worry. That's why I never stop inviting you back, not with condemnation, but with compassion. I whisper, return, every time your heart wanders, every time your mind races, every time your attention slips away. I don't demand your presence. I receive it, and I celebrate every return as a victory of love. So pause again, just for a breath. Feel it move in and out. That's me, sustaining you. That's me, reminding you that this breath matters. This silence matters. This stillness isn't emptiness. It's the space where eternity touches your soul. You're not wasting time by being present. You're redeeming it. You're meeting me in the place where all transformation begins, the now. This moment is not neutral. It's not disposable. It's holy. And so are you. Because you were made in my image, and I am not a God of distraction. I am a God of presence. And I am here, always here, waiting not for a future version of you to arrive, but loving the you that is already standing before me. You've tried to make sense of your life by connecting the dots of your past and projecting your desires into the future. You've charted timelines, made plans, and worked hard to hold things together. But all that effort has left you tired, hasn't it? Not just physically, but deep in your soul. Because what you really crave isn't more productivity, it's presence. Not more progress, but peace. And peace, real peace, only lives in the now. Not in the past you analyze or the future you anticipate, but in the sacred simplicity of this moment with me. You long for wholeness, and I long to give it to you. But wholeness doesn't come from revisiting every wound or controlling every outcome. Wholeness begins when you return to where I am, here and now. That's where healing starts. Not when everything is fixed, but when you are no longer split between where you were and where you think you should be. Wholeness means you are gathered again, present, not scattered across days that don't belong to you anymore. This is your day. This is the time I've given you, and I am fully in it. You've asked me for restoration. You've asked me for clarity. You've asked me to make things right again. And I hear you. I hold those prayers close. But I want you to see something. Restoration starts in presence. Not with perfect solutions or dramatic breakthroughs, but with the decision to stop running, to sit with me in the here and now. That's where I begin my best work, in the hearts that surrender not just their pain, but their need to escape it. I know how hard it is for you to slow down. I know how easily you feel pulled back into old thoughts, old versions of yourself that no longer reflect who you are becoming. And I know how your mind tries to race ahead, imagining futures you can't control. But you were never designed to live stretched so thin across time. I created you to be present, grounded, anchored, whole. And that kind of living begins with trust. Trust that I am enough for this moment, and that this moment is enough for what I want to do in you. Relationships often suffer when presence is missing. You've felt it, haven't you? When the person in front of you is there in body, but not in spirit. You've experienced the ache of being unheard, unseen, unloved in moments where attention should have been a gift. But I want to teach you something better. I want to teach you how to love like I love, with full presence, full awareness, full compassion. That can only happen when you yourself are present. You cannot give what you are withholding. You cannot pour peace into someone else's life when you are disconnected from your own. Let me teach you again to be with people as I am with you, attentive, unhurried, responsive. When you stop rushing through interactions, you begin to notice details that only presence can reveal. The way someone's voice trembles when they're hurting. The moment a smile hides deeper questions. The stillness that offers comfort more than words ever could. These are the sacred moments of love, and they begin when you stop living distracted. And that applies to how you love yourself too. Some of the most damaging things you've believed weren't lies from others. They were the quiet internal scripts you rehearsed while disconnected from my voice. You told yourself you weren't enough, that you were too late, too flawed, too broken. But none of those words came from me. You heard them in moments when you had wandered away from now, when you were trapped in old echoes or future fears. My voice speaks differently, and it speaks best when you're with me, now. Let this moment be a return, not just to me but to you, to the version of yourself that I know, the version that is whole, the version that is not defined by wounds or weighed down by expectations. You don't need to perform for me. You don't need to impress me. You don't need to try harder to be worth loving. You already are. And I see you right now, exactly as you are. And I call you worthy, chosen, held, enough. When you slow down, when you turn your heart toward me in the ordinary, you begin to remember what matters. You begin to see through my eyes, and my eyes are not rushed. I don't see your life as a checklist. I see it as a garden, something growing, something sacred, something beautiful in every stage. You don't demand a tree to bear fruit the moment it's planted. So why do you demand that from yourself? Breathe. You are not behind, you are becoming. And the soil of the present is the only place where growth can happen. The now is not just a bridge to something better. It is a gift, a sanctuary, a holy invitation to encounter me without barriers. So let go of the guilt you carry for what you didn't do yesterday. Release the fear of what tomorrow may require. Be with me here. Let your heart be known. Let your eyes open again. Let your soul exhale. And if you find yourself drifting again, that's okay. Come back. I'm still here. I've always been here. Because love, real love, doesn't live in memory or imagination. It lives in presence. And I am love. I am with you. I am for you, and I am now. There is a rhythm to life that your soul was created for, but the world has taught you to resist it. The world says, hurry. I say, abide. The world says, achieve. I say, rest. The world says, earn. I say, receive. And these two voices are constantly calling for your attention. You've listened to the world for so long that stillness feels like failure, and rest feels like laziness. But my rhythm is not your enemy. It's your rescue. Because in this stillness, in this present moment, you reconnect with your design. You were never meant to live in a state of constant motion. I built rest into creation, not as an afterthought, but as a sacred pattern. From the beginning, I formed light and shadow, activity and stillness, work and Sabbath. Not because I needed rest, but because you do. And not just physical rest, but spiritual rest. The kind that settles your thoughts, opens your heart, and reminds you that your worth was never tied to your performance. When you dwell with me in the now, you begin to realign with that original design. You try to live from a place of endless doing, but I invite you to live from a place of deep being, not disconnected or unmotivated, but grounded, peaceful, fully awake. You don't need to fix everything to be okay. You need only to return to me in this moment and let my presence be enough. That's where strength is found, not in your plans, but in my peace. And peace is not something you chase. It's something you choose by being fully where I already am, with you. When you embrace this rhythm, you begin to see time differently. You stop rushing toward imagined futures and start noticing divine moments. That conversation you nearly missed while checking your phone, I was in it. That breath you took between tears, I was in it. That moment of laughter that caught you by surprise, that was my joy. Every second carries the weight of eternity when you live aware. And the more aware you are, the more your life becomes a vessel for love, beauty, and transformation. You ask me for revival, but revival begins here, not in movements far away, not in stadiums or stages. It begins in hearts that are present, hearts that say yes to now, that listen, that pause, that refuse to race through grace. I can do more in one surrendered moment than you can accomplish in years of striving. So come into that moment with me. Let your ambition rest. Let your worry release. Let your soul recalibrate to the rhythm of heaven. There's a depth in you that I've been waiting to reach, but I don't reach it when you're scattered. I reach it when you're still, when you stop rehearsing conversations in your mind, when you stop re-editing your life through the lens of what could have been or should have been, when you stop rehearsing fears of what might go wrong. That's when I can finally speak to the deepest places, not with noise, but with knowing, not with volume, but with presence. Your deepest clarity will not come from thinking harder. It will come from noticing more, from quieting your soul long enough to realize I've been speaking in every detail. The way the morning light breaks across your room, the way your breath slows when you finally exhale, the unexpected kindness that catches you off guard, the courage that rises when you feel my nearness. This is where clarity lives, not in your striving, but in your noticing. And when you learn to live this way, present, attentive, rooted, you begin to experience my joy in new ways, not just in celebrations, but in simplicity, not just in answered prayers, but in the waiting that becomes worship. You begin to see that my love isn't confined to mountaintops or major milestones. It flows through everyday moments. When you wake, when you eat, when you speak gently, when you choose compassion, when you hold space for pain, when you forgive, when you laugh. All of it is worship when it's lived with me. There's no special formula to abiding. You don't need to say the right words or sit in a certain posture. You just need to be here. Bring me your whole heart. Let go of the mental list of everything you should be doing, and let yourself be loved fully now. Because this is where you find renewal, not in escaping your life, but in inhabiting it with me. I don't want a future version of you. I want you as you are in this second. Awake, honest, present. You keep saying you want to hear my voice. This is how. Not always through thunder or signs, often through stillness, through a soul so rooted in the now that it can finally recognize the quiet cadence of my spirit. I haven't gone silent. You've just been listening to too many other things. Let them fall away. Let your heart rest here. Let this moment be your sanctuary. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not too broken. You're just one breath away from connection, from transformation, from peace. And the door is open because I'm always waiting in the now. You're closer than you think, not to a solution or a destination, but to me. So much of your energy has been spent trying to get somewhere, prove something, fix everything. But I'm not asking you to arrive. I'm inviting you to remain, to dwell, to be with me not in some future moment of achievement, but in this simple, sacred one you are already living. You have measured your growth by how much you've accomplished, how clearly you can plan, how well you can anticipate the next step. But I measure it differently. I look at how present your heart is when I speak. I look at how you choose to trust me even when you don't understand. This is maturity. To stop resisting the moment you're in. To surrender, not to fear or fate, but to me. To say, even now, you are enough. Even here, I will stay. Because what I'm doing in you isn't just about preparing you for what's next. It's about forming you into someone who knows me now, not just believes I exist, but walks with me, talks with me, learns to recognize my presence in the ordinary, finds joy in simply being together. That's what you were created for. Communion, not control. Relationship, not results. So much of your anxiety comes from trying to live ahead of yourself. You overextend your thoughts into places they weren't meant to go, trying to predict, to prevent, to plan. And it leaves you restless because your spirit knows the truth. I didn't design you to live in the future. I designed you to live in trust. That doesn't mean you shouldn't plan, but your plans were never meant to be a substitute for my presence. I am not calling you to throw everything away. I am calling you to build your life from a different center. When you come back to the now, you find your balance again. You stop spinning. You stop analyzing. You remember what it feels like to breathe deeply and know that nothing is required of you in this moment but awareness. When you bring that awareness to me, even the most mundane moments become holy. You stop chasing the next thing, and you begin to see the fullness of this thing, this meal, this walk, this silence, this prayer. All of it becomes sacred when it's shared with me. And when you live this way, awake, grounded, aware, you become a safe place for others too. You begin to carry my peace into rooms that are filled with tension. You begin to speak not from panic, but from presence. You listen better. You respond with grace. You stop needing to prove yourself because you know you are already held. That is what this world needs. Not more answers, but more people who live from presence. Who know how to be here. Who know how to love from here. Who know how to forgive, give, and live right now. It's not too late to start. You don't need a retreat or a spiritual epiphany. You need only to choose me in this moment, right where you are. Close your eyes, put down your phone, take a slow breath. Say, my name. That's all it takes to come back. The veil is thin between your hurry and my presence, thinner than you know. The moment you pause is the moment you touch heaven, and heaven is not far. This isn't about a lifestyle change. It's about a heart shift, a spiritual recalibration back to where life is truly lived, not in the dreams of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday, but in the miracle of now. When you live here, you live whole. You're not fractured across time. You are united in spirit. And that unity creates a resilience that no trial can take from you. Because it's not rooted in what's happening. It's rooted in who I am. Let your mind rest. Let your spirit anchor. Let your body slow. Let your emotions rise and fall without fear. I am not just here to catch you when you fall. I am here to walk with you every step. And when you trip, when you pause, when you question, I do not withdraw. I draw closer. Because my love is not a reward for getting it right. It's a reality that surrounds you whether you notice or not. But oh, how much more powerfully it moves when you do notice. You've tried so hard to stay in control. But now, let yourself be kept by my peace, held by my voice, guided by my rhythm. This isn't weakness. This is wisdom. This is the strength of those who know they are beloved, not for what they achieve, but for who they are, present, awake, mine. Dadrodisa, let me fill the space between your breaths with meaning. Let me speak without words, hold you without touch, guide you without maps. I'm already doing it. I have been. You're just beginning to recognize it. And in that recognition is the beginning of your renewal. You've been searching for answers, healing, purpose, peace. You've asked me where to go, what to do, how to move forward. And through all your seeking, all your wandering, all your reaching, I've been gently bringing you back to this. I am here, now in this moment. Not later, not when everything falls into place, not when your faith feels stronger or your path feels clearer, but here, in the breath you're taking, in the silence between questions, in the stillness that feels so fragile it aches. I have never left you. You don't need to climb to reach me. I've come down to walk with you, moment by moment, heartbeat by heartbeat. You don't need to perform your way into my presence. You don't need to be perfect to experience my peace. You don't need to do more to be more. My love is not the reward for your effort. It's the foundation of your life. And when you receive that love, not just with your mind, but with your soul, you stop striving. You stop chasing. You start abiding. And everything begins to change. Not always outwardly, not always visibly, but deeply, lastingly, eternally. You were made for this communion. You were created not to live ahead of yourself or behind your memories, but to dwell with me in the sacred now. Every time your heart returns to the present, you return to me. And every time you return to me, I pour out grace fresh like morning dew. You don't have to fear missing what I have for you. What I have for you is not somewhere out of reach. It's right here. In this life you are already living. Even your pain is not separate from this. I know the tears that have fallen in the silence. I know the ache that comes when nothing makes sense. And I am not afraid of it. I hold it gently. I sit with you in it. I do not rush your healing, but I do call you into wholeness. And wholeness doesn't come from fixing everything. It comes from being with me through everything. Through the questions, through the waiting, through the wondering, through the now. And now is not empty. It is full of me, full of opportunity to love, to notice, to forgive, to listen, to breathe, to begin again. There is no shame in returning. There is only joy. Joy in the Father who sees you turn back and runs to meet you. Joy in the Spirit who never stopped whispering, "Come home." Joy in the Son who made the way open, always, always open. No matter how many times you've left the moment, left yourself, left me, I always invite you back. The world will keep pulling at your attention. It will promise fulfillment somewhere else, just beyond the next goal, the next escape, the next version of you. But I offer something greater, my presence, right here, right now. And in that presence, you will find not just clarity, but comfort. Not just direction, but delight. Not just survival, but true life. Let today be the day you choose to remain, to breathe slowly, to listen deeply, to live intentionally. Let today be the day you stop waiting for everything to be right and start realizing I'm already here. Let today be the day you call sacred, not because it's easy, but because you have decided to inhabit it with me. You're not too late. You're not too far. You're not too lost. You're exactly where you need to be for me to meet you. So receive my peace. Breathe in my love. Walk with me, not someday, but now. Let your life become a symphony of small moments, filled with eternal presence. This is the invitation. This is the message. This is the power of now. Amen. And now, my beloved, share what I've spoken. Someone else needs to know that I am here. Let them hear the echo of my voice through your words. Let them feel my love in your presence. Tell them the truth. I am the God of now.